Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you all to this video podcast. I'm doing this so that many of you have asked me what really made you get into this kenosis journey. And as I shared in my previous video, uh, there are several reasons why I got into this journey, but there are also some spiritual realities as um, that we want to look at and face this. And let me share with you, without wasting my time, it's always a struggle when you want to be present with God, to pause and to remind yourself that you are always in God's presence. Wherever you are, you're in God's presence. And if we can acknowledge that, we can connect deeply. And allow me to share my screen. Um, And as I figure this out, because I want to also be visible to you in because I don't want to talk from. I hope you can see me. Um, at the same time, I don't want to block the view. So let me move the screen here. As you can see, a recent study found that pastors, especially in the United States, are struggling with burnout and quitting. 42% of all pastors of all denominations were leaving ministry. Why? Because they were experiencing stress, isolation, and political division. They were burning out. Of course, this was true for a lot of people who went through COVID. They lost their identity because they lost their jobs or they were not able to work for a period of time. I had a friend who actually was a colonel of US Air Force. And he called me one day and said, Suresh, without wearing the uniform each day and being able to command a group of my squadron, I feel lost. See, when we were on a roll as economies of the world, we were like a bullet train speeding towards progress, and then suddenly came to a screeching halt. And people did not know what to do with ourselves. We didn't know what to do because we've always been busy, 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 going here, going there, and suddenly everything came to a stop. Do you realize why this happened? I don't know. I think God allowed this to happen so that we can get a sense of who we are without our jobs, without our careers, without our positions, without our education. And when life itself was tested at the very bottom of it, when people were struggling to breathe and exist, for the first time we came to a crisis, existential crisis. And hopefully it deepened our understanding of humanity. Hopefully it deepened our understanding of God. So why were the pastors quitting? Stress of the job because they were trying to live up to a reputation, loneliness, isolation, political division. Parties were fighting over justice issues in the United States, impact on family, as we have never been around without uh, with all the family together in a home. We're always in and out. Concern about the future of the church. What is going to be? I mean, these are things that were realities that we had no control. So why do the pastors experience as things as years go by, we find the role of the pastor leader having changed and having is being formed in a different ways. I know that, but in the early centuries, they were preachers, and then they were not only preachers, but they were also preachers and those who visited the parish, village. And then there came a movement when preachers began to teach, you know, and pastors became, it was necessary for them to teach the scriptures, not just preach from the scriptures. And then there was later in the 80s and 90s, there were so many psychological issues, and pastors had to become counselors and therapists. And can you imagine the pressure that was put on one person in in his or her leadership role? And in the 80s emerged the mega church, the church growth movement, where pastors had to become the superheroes, CEOs of large organization, growing and marketing and building and all the knowledge that they had to accumulate to be that person. You burn yourself to death. What else could happen? Because we were not created to be this. And the worst of it, we had to use God and His energy to do it. There was no Sabbath rest. And so as we look into the future, what is the reality of it? There is no way that the digital church is going away. Every church is now forced to be online and in person. I don't think it's going to change. What are we going to do? We got to be online, and we got to, because there is no other option to stay engaged with our people. But here is the current reality that really got to me. This the current discipleship program. And I left a big church to do what I'm doing right now. I realized that the discipleship programs are really not helping people to become more human. The salvation that we talk about is that God became human in order to restore humanity. This is what we call as salvation. If this is not salvation, what is it? What is it? If we can't behave like human to human, what have we been saved from? So if the programs that have been churned out in this industrial complex, institutional Christianity, there's something deeply wrong in its essence. We have got into this mindset that we can disciple people in mass. Discipleship is something different. So what we realized, and what many megachurch pastors have realized, is after 25 years of serving people, of teaching them, of encouraging them, of modeling to them, they're still self-centered, they're still arrogant, they're still promiscuous, selfish, fake, and we created them. So there was this introspection, there was a looking at oneself and saying, there's something that is not right in the way I live myself before God. And so what has happened is many people are leaving the church disillusioned. They are tired of this commercial Christianity. They are tired of this blue lights and fog lights and this performance driven services driving people to give more and to commit more, and people's souls are impoverished, but they are pursuing. Many of the young people are leaving the church, not because they have lost their faith, but they are pursuing an authentic spirituality, an authentic community where they can be real. And this is what made me leave where I am. that I was serving inside the church. And here I am embarking on a new journey. And let me share with you the gist of what that is. It is practicing the presence of God. I want to know that I'm deeply loved and I want my identity formed, my leadership formed, my life formed from that one singular identity that I am loved by God no matter what I have become. I'm not proud of who I have become. With all the education, all the talents, all the gifts, I flopped in many areas of my life. But I am self aware. I'm aware of my own failures, and therefore I'm able to bring all of myself, my good self, my intelligent self, my weak self, my playful self, and my comical self, and my depressed self, all the self together. I bring it before God because without separating that, without hiding anything, and there I'm healed. This is a journey to find healing to the whole self. This is a journey to come alive in God again. This is a journey to be restored back to that one singular identity in God. Hepzibah, I am God's beloved child. So are you, my friend. Don't deceive yourself with something else that your culture, your family, your parents, your loved ones, your friends have told you, your teachers, your great professors have told you that you should be. This will be taken away. There's something that cannot be taken away. That is your true self, your pure self, not the projected self that we project to the world, the reputation that goes before us. That will crumble. Thank you. Be present to God. Your full potential will blossom and bloom. God bless you.